Hello, my name is Leo Carson. I am a second year political science student at Commonwealth University Bloomsburg. Today I will be discussing the civil war in Sudan and its global impact. Sudan collapsed into civil war in April of 2023 after a power struggle erupted between the National Army and the Rapid Support Forces. This conflict stems from tensions that followed the 2019 overthrow of a longtime dictator, failed attempt at establishing civilian rule, and disputes over integrating the RSF into the formal military. This war in Sudan has been called the world's largest humanitarian crisis by the United Nations. Over 150,000 people have lost their lives, and 12 million people have been displaced from their homes due to this conflict. There has also been a famine and genocide allegations as well, and entire cities have been left devastated. Many citizens hoped that the 2019 revolution would bring democracy, but repeated coups and political disagreements have left the country unstable and vulnerable. There has been systemic ethnic targeting, especially in RSF controlled cities, against non Arab people. This ethnic targeting includes tactics such as mass killings of non Arab groups, systemic murder of men and boys, widespread sexual violence, and ethnic cleansing. The US formally declared the RSF actions to be genocide in January of 2025. Human rights organizations have documented mass graves and destroyed villages through satellite imagery and survivor testimonies. As stated earlier, over 12 million people have been displaced from their homes, and there has been a widespread famine, leaving many to face starvation. Over 24 million people face acute hunger, and 80% of emergency food kitchens have been closed. Children are especially vulnerable, having extremely high levels of malnutrition, and thousands are at risk of starvation. Humanitarian aid is being restricted as starvation is being used as a weapon of war. There has also been a cut in international funding, leaving less aid available. Critical infrastructure, such as hospitals and schools, has been destroyed, which has left the public to face disease outbreaks. Doctors have warned that disease such as cholera and measles are spreading rapidly since vaccination programs have collapsed. Sudan is increasingly being referred to as the world's forgotten war. The United States has imposed sanctions on the RSF leader and associated companies. The Human Rights Watch has called for accountability and is pushing for the United Nations and the International Criminal Court to investigate. This ensures that those found guilty of international crimes can be held accountable for their actions. The Global Center for Responsibility to Protect has said that starvation and displacement could count as crimes against humanity, and several ceasefire attempts, which were negotiated by the United States and Saudi Arabia, have collapsed within hours due to violations by both sides of this war. There are many different global implications that this civil war has had that make it important to understand. For one, refugees have been fleeing by the millions, which has put pressure on neighboring countries, leading the region to being destabilized. Large numbers of refugees have already been entering Chad, South Sudan, and Egypt, straining already fragile economies. This war could also affect other countries in the region by disrupting the local food supply. This is especially true because the region is already susceptible to climate and economic shocks. Instability in Sudan also threatens Red Sea trade routes, which are vital to global shipping and energy transport. Also, this conflict may be setting a new precedent where genocide and humanitarian crises go unchecked. If this genocide continues to go unchecked, it weakens the international norms around preventing mass atrocities, while simultaneously raising concerns about the effectiveness of international legal mechanisms like the International Criminal Court. Extremist groups may exploit this power vacuum, which creates a long-term security concerns for the region and the international community. Furthermore, there is also a risk of external forces being drawn into the conflict, treating Sudan as a proxy war, which may impact other existing power dynamics. Finally, there are still the humanitarian connotations of this conflict. International aid organizations and governments may be forced to scale up aid massively, which would require more commitment, funding, and coordination. This tragedy unfolding in Sudan is a stark reminder of how quickly a nation's hope for democracy can collapse into unimaginable suffering. Millions of families have lost their homes, their loved ones, and their sense of safety, while the world has too often watched in silence. The genocide, famine, and destruction of basic infrastructure reveal the true human cost of political violence and international inaction. But the consequences extend far beyond Sudan's borders. Regional instability, disrupted trade, refugee crisis, and the erosion of international law affect us all. If Sudan is allowed to remain a forgotten war, it sets a dangerous precedent for how future crises may be ignored. Recognizing the gravity of this conflict is the first step towards demanding accountability, supporting humanitarian efforts, and insisting that the world does not abandon the people of Sudan in their darkest moment.